This week, on Thursday, December 4th, we have a powerful, social, interesting, and busy full moon in Gemini. But this isn't your average Gemini full moon, which is exciting enough. Mercury, which rules this eclipse, is newly direct as of just a couple days ago. Mercury completed its retrograde in Scorpio through Scorpio and Sagittarius on November 29th and is now going to move direct through Scorpio until December 11th and then into Sagittarius for basically the rest of the month. Not only that, we also have Mercury completing this grand water trine pattern that has been unfolding. We've been in the process of working with this grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn since late October. So I'm excited to talk about all of this with you today. Let's go ahead and get this on our chart and get started. I do want to just start by talking about the Gemini full moon. I always like to put what we're talking about on the chart in the hopes that that is helpful if you are studying astrology and if you just like to learn and or if you just like to listen to the astrology and not worry about that part. I hope that this video is helpful for you as well. That's always my intention, for it just to work for everyone who might be watching. Long time viewers may notice I have integrated a stylus into the mix. We'll see how that works today. Can you please let me know in the comments what you think of the stylus? Would you rather me go back to using my hand, which is what I've been doing for the last year and a half? It's funny because I've been talking about whether or not I should upgrade my technology in terms of, instead of basically recording this from my phone, looking over to my iPad on a little stand, if I should get more professional and start doing these on a computer and screen sharing and all of that. And everyone seems to be in agreement that that really isn't necessary, that we kind of like this live format. But I have integrated a stylus. So I feel that this is my high-tech push forward. So let me know what you think of it. So I do want to focus to start just on this full moon alone, but then we're going to talk about how Mercury is newly direct at this time and the significance of that, and the fact that Mercury is forming this amazing grand water trine right now for the third time, which is really important as well. And I just want to say now, before we even jump into that, that I think the timing of all of this is just amazing. The way in which the Mercury retrograde process has been unfolding, and so has that grand water trine since sort of mid-fall. You know, we've been working with a story for a number of weeks, and it all kind of comes to a head in some kind of way. Some sort of there's some sort of culmination process right around this Gemini full moon, and everything has been so connected to Mercury. So, as just to say, thinking about what kind of story you've been working with for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, more like 6 weeks, could be really Hi, am I back? Are people here? Can you write in the comments if you can see me? I think I might be back. I think I disconnected for a second, but now I'm back. All right, I'm just going to continue forward. If you could just sort of let me know in the comments that you're here, I'd appreciate it. But I do think I'm live, so I'm going to just continue here. All right. So, oh, good, 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 good. Hi. Thank you for saying that. Hi, Bebo. Nice to see you. I just want to say as well that I will look through the chat at the end of this conversation and I will answer your questions then. Bebo, thank you for sending me that flower, though. I have to say in advance, thank you so much. Thank you for the super. Um, so I will look over the chat at the end of this and answer any questions that you might have. So feel free to put them there. And so sorry about that. So sorry about that problem. Okay. So yes, thinking about the timing of what's been going on for the last few weeks or so, because could be some sort of culmination point right now. Okay. So we have the full moon on our chart here. Let's just talk about a Gemini full moon for a minute. So Gemini full moons are often social times. There can be a lot of conversation during a Gemini full moon period, and it's generally a light, fun conversation. I always think that Gemini is sort of magazines, not books, right? Sagittarius cares very, very deeply about depth and honesty. Gemini kind of just wants to have a good time. Gemini wants to tell a good story and have some fun and have some laughs. Whether the story is true or not isn't sort of quite as important. So there's a lightness to a Gemini full moon that I really like, and a socialness and just a fun sort of chatty energy. It's a time when we can be very curious. We can actually be busy being curious. There could be something that you're into that's really captivating your attention this week. We can be very excited about learning new things under the energy of a Gemini full moon, thinking a lot, doing a lot. And also with Gemini, it's always about sort of seeing things from multiple perspectives. You know, wherever we have Gemini in the chart, we tend to do it twice. And sometimes that's also what's happening when we have anything with Gemini coming up. We have to do it twice. So Mercury retrograde here can be very interesting because we're just redoing. But we tend to see things from sort of multiple perspectives in the Gemini part of our chart anyway, because we have a certain mental flexibility there. And then when the full moon occurs, it sort of ignites that signature. So, this Gemini full moon all by itself is a busy period. It's also, there's something about the youthfulness of Gemini full moon energy that's worth discussing. Gemini rising signatures, for example, tend to even look a little bit young. But bringing a youthfulness to the Gemini part of your chart is generally helpful. And I mean, bringing a youthfulness to life in general is generally helpful, right? Bringing a certain curiosity that has sort of a young energy to it. Looking at things with fresh eyes, that's part of that curiosity, and that interest is part of why Gemini energy leads to seeing things from multiple perspectives, because of that sort of curiosity and the youthfulness that comes with it. Gemini intelligence is also very, very quick. It's interesting. There was a little bit of a thread going on in one of the horoscopes from recently. I forget where it was exactly, where someone was asking about what is the most intelligent sign. And everyone was having conversations about it, which is so interesting to me. I love to always hear those things. And I don't think we can ever say this is the most, this is the least. It's a little bit too firm for working with archetypes. But Gemini would definitely be very, very high on the list, right? All of the air signs would, and they would in different ways. Like, I think that the quickness of Gemini would probably take the cake, and the curiosity. That intelligence is very fast intelligence. It can learn new things quickly. It can communicate new things quickly. It's that kind of smart, kind of. So we're a little mentally flexible right now. We're feeling ready to learn something new this week. We want to be a little careful not to speak too quickly because of that quickness of Gemini intelligence and Gemini intellect. It can sort of go so quickly sometimes that it can sort of miss a step or two or miscommunicate in some kind of way because going quickly starts to be more important than being accurate. So that's something to keep in mind. I feel like there was something else I was just about to say about this. Oh, about the intelligence piece. So also I think that Virgo is very intelligent. I also think Libra is quite intelligent, Aquarius as well. But I do think that if I had to pick, even though I think these are archetypes and we can't really pick, I might give it to Scorpio because there's a depth and a listening and a focus that Scorpio brings to the mix that is very intelligent. But it's not even an air sign, right? So it is kind of best not to sort of think in these kinds of terms as a general rule. We are also working. Gemini time is also about humor. Having fun, having a good sense of humor. That's part of the lightness. That's part of the brightness. Is a great sense of humor. If we were talking about which sign was the funniest, I would, without hesitation, give it to Gemini. So funny. And it's because of that intellectual quickness that different connections can be made that not everyone would make, and they can be made quickly, right? So you're having a fun conversation with a Gemini and they might say some very, very clever things. And so we all might be feeling a little bit that way around the time of the Gemini full moon. And, or this is a great way to use the energy when it comes up, right? Sometimes we can have sort of like a little bit of a restless feeling with Gemini energy because it's so air. um, it's such a quick moving mental energy. If you don't have a lot of air in your chart, even if you do, either way, there can be sort of a restlessness, an overdoing it feel to Gemini. And I think that using that energy, what was I going to say? I was going to say something about how we can sort of work with that, how we can, something that we can do with all that Gemini energy to sort of make it, to sort of calm it. And I can't remember what I was going to say. I mean, as a general rule, I think sort of earth sign stuff is always helpful when it's a little bit too much, you know, going for walks in nature, eating well, sleeping well, all that kind of stuff. The restlessness, I was talking about that restless feeling. I remember. Oh, sorry, I'm so all over the place this morning. Thanks for hanging in with me. I remember what I was going to say, that's where the humor comes in. The humor can kind of take the edge off of it. When we feel that restless energy, when we feel the abundance of the sort of negative side of too much air or too much Gemini full moon, we can sort of lean in the direction of the more positive sides of the signature to help us release some of that energy, right? It can be a great way to do it. So I always think that's helpful to pay attention to. So this week, if you felt restless, if it all felt like a little too much, taking a more youthful approach, applying some humor to the situation, those things could be really, really helpful. Expanding your perspective, you know, seeing things from multiple points of view is always something that we're more able to do with Gemini energy. Just learning something new, doing new, different things, being curious, you know, allowing yourself to explore your interests is always such a great idea with a Gemini full moon. Okay. So all of that is sort of about this moon just in isolation. If we were just talking about this Gemini moon as a frozen moment in time, those are some good things to keep in mind. But with astrology, we know it is not a frozen moment in time. We have all of these different things that go on. So first, let me sort of highlight this Mercury process. So Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse, and Mercury is here in Scorpio right now. And Mercury is now sort of newly direct, moving forward through Scorpio all week. So that is really significant in and of itself. Just this direct motion, Mercury being in Scorpio and Mercury moving direct. It's such a deep sign. Scorpio is such a deep sign. But really, I have to put the air trine or the water trine on here at the same time, because I can't disconnect it from this. Because look, I mean, it dominates the chart. You don't really have to know that much about astrology to be like, whoa, really, really fascinating. Big triangle in the middle of the chart, right? And that's working with Jupiter and Saturn. So this is not a fleeting, quick moving trine. We've been working with this grand water trine since late October. Just like we've been working with this Mercury retrograde since earlier in the fall. So both of these processes are coming to a head now, and I think it's very interesting. With Mercury moving direct, it's like we're sort of, we're understanding why. We're straightening things out. We're sort of having that process of discovery and clarity come in after the retrograde. You know, there's some way in which we've gained a new perspective on a story. We've revised something. We've revisited it. We've reimagined our approach, particularly in the Scorpio part of your chart at this point in the process. So checking out Scorpio and Sagittarius in your chart and where they fall could be very, very helpful with this, just for understanding where you're moving forward, where you've sort of done some digging lately, and where you now are sort of moving forward with a little bit of a different understanding, a little bit of a new story. Okay. The fact that we've had the grand water trine occurring at the same time has sort of given this incredible emotional strength to whatever process we've been moving through. It's like we had the emotional strength and ability that was signified by the grand water trine to help us unpack some sort of story, some sort of narrative that needed work. You know, sometimes things can function sort of in the background of our lives, right? Like on a subconscious level. And we don't even realize that we're holding ourselves back in some way because we're like playing a tape over and over again that can be a little bit destructive or limiting somehow. And I think that what's so lovely about this grand water trine is that it's helped us. It's given us the strength, the emotional capability to look at something that normally we aren't able to see and go, wait a minute, why do I always say that to myself? You know, I shouldn't say that. Where does that come from? How do I stop doing it? Or it could be a process of discovery about something about your work and what's aligned now and what isn't, or your relationships, or the way you view the world in some kind of way, you know? Honestly, I think that with configurations like this, they hit so many different parts of the chart that it could kind of show up in multiple places or in multiple areas. And I think that that's a little extra true when Pisces is involved as well. It's like, really, this could kind of be anywhere. At the same time, if you want to know where this is falling in your chart, watch my November or December and January, which are together, horoscopes for your rising sign on my channel. I'm not done yet, but I'm just saying, over on my channel, it will show you what parts of the chart this is falling in for you. But really, it could kind of affect anything just because of the nature of this. Okay, so we've had this sort of emotional strength and ability. It's also like an emotional fluency, like we speak emotion. We've been speaking emotion very well lately. We've been able to tap into our own emotions and understand them, recognize them and understand them, why they're coming up, where they're coming from, what they even are. And we're also able to understand others a little bit better. We can see where they are emotionally. We can maybe even sort of understand why a little bit better than usual. We can apply compassion, therefore, in the right way, in better ways to self and to others. So we've been working through that process, and it's helped us to feel really safe and secure enough to move through something, to work through something, and do a little bit of healing work. And it's so interesting because really it's all been so watery that I feel like it's such an emotional process that there probably isn't an intellectual understanding of it, right? It's more of an emotional thing, but I don't think that, because Mercury has been such a player in this process from the beginning, because Mercury moved through this house and sign and formed this grand water trine at the very beginning in late October. Then Mercury moved direct and checked in with the grand water trine in November. And now here we are, the first week in December. And who's wrapping up the process of these grand water trine waves that we've been working with for some time? Of course, Mercury. So even though it has been an emotional learning, an emotional process and healing, and something that maybe I wouldn't think usually we could really just put our finger on and really understand, I kind of think it has been a mental process because of the way that Mercury has been working with it from the very beginning. It's like we've been figuring something out emotionally, figuring something emotional out. I'm not really sure. So, this is what is coming together this week. And the fact that this formation is in play just in and of itself, should I gesticulate with my with my stylist too, or is it okay to point? I think it's okay to point. But the stylist was kind of helpful. What did you all think? Did you like the stylist this today? Let me know in the chat as well, and the comments if you're watching this later, because I want to know whether or not you think it was okay and helpful. Do you think I can even use it for my February reports? It is a little bit easier for me. It's a little bit more precise. Okay. So this all would have been a big deal in and of itself. The Mercury direct and the grand water trine. The fact that we have a full moon in Gemini right now. Whoa. So interesting that that's combining with this signature right at this time. So our minds could be really busy this week and for the next couple weeks while we're in that Gemini full moon season, which will be in for 2 weeks until we get to the next new moon. And there could be an emotional component to it. Some compassion theme, intuition theme, deeper understanding theme, healing theme that really we've been working on for a while. So definitely check out the horoscopes on my channel for November and December to learn more about this. I spoke about the grand water trine in both reports. I think I spoke about it more in November, but I talk about this configuration specifically in the December reports. Ooh, sorry. And if you're an Aquarius or Pisces, I am finishing your reports now. And I am getting there, and you are so patient, those later signs of the zodiac, and I really, really appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going to check in with the chat now. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Bibo, for the super. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you to my members. If any of you are here right now, thank you so much. I have launched just a little channel membership with just a few little sort of behind the scene casual videos that I don't think everyone on YouTube would enjoy. I think they're more things that only this community really would like. So I don't want to release, just me sort of sitting at the lake and talking about Scorpio season. I don't want to release that on YouTube because I don't think it would do well, and it would probably wouldn't help the channel. But it's the kind of thing I want to talk about just with this community. So that's why I released this members only side of things. It also helps to support the channel, which allows me to put more time into this work. I really enjoy this work. And so, as I gain more support and I'm able to spend more time on it, I will. And the memberships and the chats and just watching the videos, you all, really helps so much. So just being here, just watching it means so much. Thank you so much. And to my members and to anyone leaving supers. Okay. Yeah, people are asking about their chart, and definitely watch horoscopes for your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, watch for your sun sign. That's the next best thing. In many ways, it's the same astrology for everyone. It's just a matter of turning it through the chart, how it's lining up in what life areas. But this astrology is the same for everyone. So if you don't know your rising sign, just watching for your sun sign should be great. You'll likely get a lot from that because it is the same astrology for everyone. Yes. Oh, good. Bibo has a holiday coming up on the 9th. How wonderful. Enjoy, enjoy. People saying the format seems fine. I think the format is fine too. I love the casual nature of this. I think if you're over 40, over 45, like I am, the how incredible the picture is, the video is, the camera is on an iPhone, on an iPad, like the technology that we have available doesn't make me feel like I need to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment. It really doesn't. This equipment is better than the highest equipment that we had when I was coming up. So I've always just felt, I love the flexibility of it. I love the way in which I can just do this wherever. I can take it down to the lake. I can sit in this little room in my house early in the morning. I don't have to be in the office. I love the flexibility of it. And so I'm glad it works for all of you too. Thank you all for being here. You're thanking me, and I want to thank you. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Someone has an exam the beginning of January. Yes, likely many people do. I like it. I like it. I think that this intellectual energy is good for studying. I might use this Gemini season. Oh, I love someone saying that they enjoy the format. Thank you so much. I do try to create authentic content. I'm glad it's okay to point. And thank you for saying whatever's comfortable for me. Yes, busy minds right now. Some are relating to that. I agree. There is a lot going on. Love everyone sharing their big three in the comments. That's always so interesting. Moon, Libra, Sun, Pisces, and Pisces rising. You are mushy, big mushy here. Sophia, it's so true. I actually have a lot of mushy stuff too. I am, and a lot of Libra and Pisces as well. I'm Libra rising, Pisces moon, but then I have an Aries sun. So that sort of cuts through, cuts through the mushy a little bit. But I love that signature. I love Pisces rising. Pisces rising is so, so good at connecting with people. Pisces rising can really connect with people in unique ways. You really meet people where they are. You can talk to just about anyone, and really connect with them. Yeah, Aries sun is helpful, but it's also it's kind of tough sometimes when you have two signatures next to each other. It's crazy how different adjacent signs are from one another. And so anyone who has those kinds of signatures, sometimes there's really something in there to balance. But yeah, I love your signature, Sophia, and thank you for sharing. And just thank you everyone so much for being here. I hope you have an amazing week. Take care. I'll be back on Monday actually. I'm going to let this ride for the week because this is the big astrology of the week. Okay, have a great week everyone. Thank you.